You know how I also like put like that together is because dating in Korea.
Speak on it. It's a lot out here.
Because how it relates to dating and how I like put that connection together is I don't like playing games in the beginning. I mean, but if you don't
You
play
don't
games,
do that mirtang?
oh hell no! I think that's disrespectful.
It's childish.
It is childish.
Very
It's really
childish.
disrespectful for the other person to
Yeah.
look at their message and not contact them.
But do you feel like that's because you're Korean American, you're saying this? Because I feel like a lot of Korean girls don't mind it.
No, because you do play games in America. Like a little bit like, oh, I shouldn't respond back right away. I should just like wait like 10, 15 minutes, whatever, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I realize if you don't play the games, they see you as easy.
True.
So I realize I do need to play the game.
But who has time?
For them. Yeah, but like we need to play the rules of society. If that's what they need to see, then that's what they'll get. And that, you know what? It makes sense. It makes sense if you come off as direct
and too open, basically.
They will play you.
Do you find that dating Koreans and Korean Americans are different in Korea, or
100%?
Oh, really?
Oh my God!
I mean, for me too,
different.
100%. But from your perspective, I'm interested to hear how is a Korean American man different from like a Korean when it comes to dating?
Okay, so basically, what I've said to my friend recently, who broke up with her ex,
her man's.
I told her like you need to date a Korean American or a Korean that has lived abroad because they've went through things that are similar.
That's true.
And they will understand you without you having to explain yourself because they have a similar story, whether it's a friends or a family members, they know. And if they don't, like, I just blinked out.
It's okay. It happens. If they don't know, they're not Korean American. Let me finish your sentence. But yeah, Korean Americans would for sure understand another Korean American's experience over.
It's but it's the immigrant trauma.
That's true. That's true.
That's why we get along.
We both have a whole lot of trauma that's just boiling in our bodies.
The thing is, like, the way that you behave, the way that you think, is stemmed from your childhood, right?
For sure.
And because we both have immigrant families or parents, we know the struggle. We know, like, the way that we had to act when we were younger. And maybe our experiences when we were growing up is completely different, but I know friends and family members that went through your
experiences. Right.
So I can relate to that in a different way. But because Koreans, they don't have that experience, they don't really get it.
Because they've been in their bubble for a while. Because this is their country.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, living in Korea is such a small country. If they haven't seen the world, they're going to think small.
I can see that.
And if any guy in Korea, like Koreans, say that they're open-minded, they only think
sexually.
They're
thinking sexually. We're like, oh, we're open-minded, and then another Korean is like, I'm open-minded too. So you want to sleep together? And I'm just like,
they're talking about threesomes and.
Yeah, I'm like, what does this have to do with being open-minded? But that is true. I have noticed that saying I'm open-minded for a Korean is so different from what we think open-minded is.
And like, I'm not gonna understand their problems because I'm not born and raised in Korea.
True. Like the problems they go through here is very difficult to understand.
So I found that like the difference of like dating a Korean and Korean American, it was very, one was comfortable, the other one was like turmoil. Very turbulent relationship. Yeah.
In what way? You don't have to say everything, just whatever you're comfortable with. Was it like one was obsessed while the other one gave you more freedom, or like was it one did everything while the other one just kind of laid back and did nothing?
The Korean American one was a lot more actually open-minded and gave me space and was very like accepting of certain things because he could relate.
Right.
But the Korean was very needy and a little bit like not as empathetic because he just didn't get it.
He doesn't understand what's going on type thing.
which is fine because
It's a cultural thing.
yeah, it's a cultural
You
thing.
can't really fix that unless you leave your culture and see other cultures.
Yeah.
So it's completely understandable. But that's when we're like, oh, I'd rather date a Korean American or a Kyopo over a Korean. Because I think I've told you this before. I don't date Koreans. Like if you're born in Korea, raised in Korea, never left Korea, I can't see you as
What was your experience of dating Korean?
I just found Koreans to be very small-minded and very obsessive. And I feel like Kyopos give you more space and they understand what you're saying. And also I've realized like I also can't date, someone who doesn't know some parts like a bit of English.
Okay.
That's very selfish, but it's just when it comes to like understanding each other, I don't want to have to like be in the middle of a fight. Like, what does that mean? Let me Google it. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine being heated and having to like papago the conversation? Like, who has time to be doing that? So I do prefer that. And also because my parents don't know Korean. Like, I'm going to have to, you're going to need to be able to communicate with my parents a little bit. So that's another reason. But yeah, I can't. I've dated like 3, 4, and I was just like, this is not it.
Even my parents were like, don't date a Korean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really need to leave Korea to understand what's going on in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's everyone. Even Americans who've only been in America. Well, that's a little different, actually. Let me say, because diversity is a little more. But if you're born in the South in America and you've only lived in the South, your experience is so different from people who've like left their cities, their countries. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think the experience is very different for sure when you're dating someone who's only been in the same location their whole life than somebody who's been around, had friends who are foreign.
I think it's going to sound really bad, but I swear it's not that bad. But when I was able to kind of like look and be more honest about myself,
yeah,
I realized that if someone were to not handle me, but kind of understand
what's a
me.
handle? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant okay.
No. No.
I was thinking about it in different contexts, but okay.
If someone were to like actually understand me, because that's one of my things that I would like in a partner. If they can actually empathize with me and really understand my feelings, even if they haven't been through the same experience, they should actually at least like understand where I'm coming from.
Okay, that's actually a really good reason.
But if we live completely different lives in completely different cultures, then it's going to be difficult for them to get it. And that's fine. I shouldn't expect that from someone. So I'd
rather break up and just be like, I'll find something else.
Yeah.
That's actually, I completely understand that. Because, if you can't understand where I'm coming from and I have to explain every single little detail. We need to go
through the same emotional childhood trauma.
You meet a guy and you're like, so what's your childhood trauma? Can you holler at me real quick? Can you imagine? And your first date is just traumatic experiences you've handled as a child. That would actually be a dope date. Just pouring your heart out, like, bro, this is the traumatic stuff I went through. That would be a great date.
That would be a great third date.
Because that probably will be the last date that you guys have. That sounds like a cheap therapist.